from Barber Motorsports Park. It's opening weekend for Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. Beautiful pictures, beautiful scene in central Alabama, about 2 hours west of Atlanta. And the racetrack is one of the beauties in North America. George Barber has designed it along with that massive museum, the largest motorcycle collection in the world, and a great collection of Lotus Formula One cars, and so much more. Thanks for joining us today, Kevin Lee and Anders Krohn, as we get set for race number 2 of the weekend, and a very challenging racetrack for this event too. There are different configurations that tell you what the track is, listed anywhere from 14 or 15 to 17 turns. 17 is what we often see, and it presents a lot of challenges.
Oh man, I tell you what, this is one of the most awesome road courses in North America. So much elevation change and lightning quick sectors of this track. Really only one major braking zone, and that's into turn 5, which is a very sharp hairpin, and you're braking in a downhill, but everything else is just back to back to back G-load, all these elevation changes, and it's a tricky one for sure, and especially with these 45-minute races, very, very difficult to manage your tires for that long period of time.
Let's go back to race number 1 on Saturday afternoon. The pole sitter, Roman DeAngelis, gets the great jump down into the first corner, but back behind, that's the Gold Cup pole sitter, Rob Ferriel, who was second in the championship last year, doesn't make his way through. And then Victor Gomez, who was the gold champion last year, moving up to Platinum Cup, also has problems. Scott Wellham went around, all kinds of drama, and some 3-wide racing and great battles up front, Anders.
Yeah, and Parker Thompson to the inside of the track there, and Alan Metney, the Platinum Masters winner there, he goes off track as well. Crazy action.
And nobody had anything for Roman DeAngelis, who dominates from start to finish. Sebastian Carrazzo wins the Gold Cup. Metney takes the Masters win after winning 5 in the championship last year. Roman DeAngelis, last year's runner-up in Platinum, starts off 2019 with a win at Barber Motorsports Park. We will not see repeat champions in 2019. The 2018 Platinum Cup champion Trenton Estab did not return this year, and 21-year-old Road to Indy Formula Car veteran Parker Thompson making a sports car debut in that number 3 GDX racing machine this weekend. The runner-up, Roman DeAngelis, another young Canadian, is back. He won race 1 yesterday with Kelly Moss Road and Race, and 19-year-old Californian Max Root, who was 4th last year, is also back. Among the newcomers, the 2019 Hurley Haywood GT3 scholarship winner, Sean McAllister from California. He debuts for JDX. 16-year-old Riley Dickinson, we thought would be quick coming in for more speed in a program that won 8 races last year, and he was quick yesterday. And Platinum Cup Masters champ Alan Metney is back, trying to mix it up more with the kids. Qualifying is based on the second fastest lap in practice. They line up at the front, actually the way they finished yesterday. Ready to go green this time by. Still a few more turns to warm up the cars as they head down to the twisty section of the course, turn 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17.
And I'm surprised to see the pace car going as slowly as he is. All that work to get the tires up to temp here in the opening lap, and now they're going just 45, 50 miles an hour. And in a GT3 Cup car, that literally feels like crawling here with 2 corners to go before we take the flag. But now we see pace car pulling away.
It's time for the opening weekend. Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. Race number 2 of the opening weekend, number 2 of 16. Roman DeAngelis trying to go 2 for 2. Riley Dickinson on his outside. Final corner, waiting to see the green flag. Second row, Parker Thompson, Maxwell Root, Jeff Kingsley, Sean McAllister, Charlie Luck, Alan Metney, all right there. And the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama is green from Barber Motorsports Park. DeAngelis gets the run into turn number 1. Dickinson holds on to second position. And yesterday they didn't make it through clean. Today they do.
And how about that for Max Root, hanging around the outside of turn 1 to take that third spot from Parker Thompson. Now they're going to go too wide through turn 4, and this sets you up for that brake zone into turn 5. Let's see who's aggressive on the brakes.
Max Root got a spot on Parker Thompson. He's third, but Thompson will try to go around the outside in that black and gold Hertz car. Can he hang on there through turn number 5 and 6?
Well, of course, now he's going to have the inside line coming into turn 8, so he should be able to get that spot here from Max Root, but still side by side into turn 8. Great stuff on the opening lap.
And just like race number 1 yesterday, Roman DeAngelis checking out early.
And this really is the key here to Roman DeAngelis, is just how quickly he activates these Yokohama tires, gets them up to temp, and Parker Thompson is aggressive going through turn 10 and 11. How cool is that?
DeAngelis already by 7 or 8, 9 car lengths. Dickinson safely in second, so the battle is third, fourth, fifth, and beyond.
And Jeff Kingsley as well, they're wanting to join this battle here with Max Root and Parker Thompson. So Jeff probably learned a lot after the race yesterday and looking at his teammate Parker Thompson's data and video, just finding those little extra couple of tenths around this place. Very difficult track. That
second black and gold car is Sean McAllister in his debut weekend in the series. He's the current recipient of the IMSA Hurley Haywood GT3 scholarship. He's making his debut. 22 years old from Beverly Hills, California.
And yeah, big pressure now for Max Root with Jeff Kingsley. Kingsley's going to try and take the long way round, and really the only way to do that is by squaring up the exit here. We're going to see Jeff Kingsley try and go down to the low side. Can't quite get it done, but clearly early in this race, he's got the pace over Max Root, who had an astonishing start.
Right behind McAllister, where we see him coming into screen, is Alan Metney. He's the Masters leader, dominated that class yesterday, and as mentioned, mixed it up with the young guys. He had a really good race with Kingsley and held off McAllister to finish 6th overall.
Yeah, and it was a great race for Alan Metney, and man, did he have some pressure in the early going of the race with Jeff Kingsley able to hold him off for some 20-25 minutes, and eventually the pressure was too much, and Jeff Kingsley was able to get by Alan Metney. But yeah, to your point, doing a very, very good job against these young guns.
That pink number 25 car is last year's Gold Cup champion, Victor Gomez IV, now running in platinum, and he's working on the 23 car, Fred Keimer, one of the Masters runners who finished 2nd in the Masters class yesterday.
And Gomez, of course, had that off in turn 5 yesterday, so not the result he wanted, so he's going to want to be aggressive here, flashing his lights on Keimer. Can you do something? Yes, he can into turn 1. That's not a spot that's easy to overtake.
It's a 30-car field officially entered this weekend. 29 are taking part.
And it's unbelievable. I think it's the biggest field they've had since 2014, so it's just great to see the growth of the GT3 Cup. And I think there's a number of reasons for that, and I think a lot of that has to do with just how close the technical regulations are and the fact that you're not allowed to change a lot on the car. So it really comes down to what the driver can do. And Rob Ferriol is fighting against a platinum car right here, so this is not for position, but Rob Ferriol wants to prove just how quick of a driver he is, and clearly has the pace on the 61 car at this point in time.
Scott Wellham is in the Masters class, longtime club racer, moved into the pro ranks last year. He's trying to hold off the Gold Cup leader.
Yeah, and you can really see the difference here between a platinum and a gold car on the straightaway. The platinum just has quite a bit more horsepower, but then in the corners, the two are closely matched. So we're going to see here Wellham pull away a little bit, but then Rob Ferriol is going to catch up in the brake zone into turn 5.
So while there are 2 races, as we see a dive down the inside for Bill Smith in the 42 car, making up a position, but then runs it a little bit wide, and they're going to go side by side, headed down to turn number 8. That's Smith, and Kurt Fazekas is in the 52 car. on driver's left.
But again, this is platinum versus gold, so a fairly easy position there for Bill Smith to take because he does have that extra horsepower of that platinum car. So able to get away at this point in time. And now we have a side-by-side battle for second place, though, in the gold category.
Sebastian Carrazzo, the winner yesterday in gold in that yellow 27 in GT Motorsport.
And that's Kurt Fazekas that he's trying to get by there as we have battles going on all over the track here. And again, the gold leader of Rob Ferriol trying to take it to Wallow.
That's one of the races within the race. Yes, the Platinum Cup cars are faster, but not significantly. It's 30, 40 horsepower or so. Now, the Platinum Masters cars do have ABS, but the Golds like to mix it up, and they can beat the Platinums, as we see Bart Collins off for MCR Racing.
Yeah, and that's turn 15. That's the penultimate corner on the track. They're very easy to lose the rear end of the car in that particular portion of the track. And to your point about platinum and gold, yeah, there's a little bit of difference, and that's not necessarily shown that much on a track like Barber, where there aren't really long straightaways, but on a track like Road America, there's going to be a huge time difference between these two cars.
The Platinums are the latest generation Porsches. And the Golds are, I think, the 2014 through 2016 models.
Yep, the 991-1. And driving a 991-2 is Roman DeAngelis out in the lead. And he's done the exact same thing today as he did yesterday. 2.8 seconds the lead at the moment for Roman DeAngelis.
Roman DeAngelis is still a teenager, 18 years old, just turned 18 recently, from the Toronto area, Bell River, Ontario. Finished second in Platinum Cup last year and in the Canadian Cup as well. His goal this year is to come back and win both. He is running the full series for both this year.
I think he's got a really good shot at doing it here, especially when you can flex your muscle at a track like Barber. That means other tracks could be a little bit more of a straight affair for sure.
This is a big weekend for the team, the Kelly Moss Road and Race team. They have supported the Children's Hospital of Alabama and its Racing for Children's program. They had a big banquet here. They always do on Friday night. This is very special to Roman as well, to show well for all of the supporters of the program and all of the kids that are here as well this weekend.
And I just love seeing all the handprints of the children on his race car in all those different cool colors as we have Castro around in the Gold Cup car.
Efren Castro.
Oh, and that's turn 1. Oh, that's a dangerous spot. Don't throw. He's lucky no one came through there. Oh, man.
He was running in 21st overall and 6th in Gold Cup. Let's see it again.
Oh, it gets a wiggle on the way in, tries to carry too much speed and loses it. And you'll see it a little bit on the TV here. It's such a steep downhill through turn 1, so if you haven't perfected your line or your turn-in point coming into the corner, you're going to lose the rear end very, very easily.
Kevin Lee, thanks for joining us today from Barber Motorsports Park. Anders raced in Indy Lights, also in the Rolex 24. You raced here. How difficult is that turn number 1? It looks pretty challenging to a novice.
Well, it's very difficult, but it's one thing if you're driving an SUV, you can see everything ahead of you on the road. But sitting in these GT3 Cup cars, you're sitting down so low that you basically can't see the approach to turn 1 or to turn 8 or to turn 12. So you're essentially turning in just by muscle memory into turn 1, and so easily to overdo it if you've checked your mirrors or you're looking at your dash or you've changed the brake bias or something inside the car, and then you just missed that turn-in point, and from there, yeah, you're going to be a passenger.
Let's take a look at our Yokohama fastest lap of the race so far. It is the leader, Roman DeAngelis, on lap number 5.
Yeah, and Dickinson doing everything he can to keep up with Roman DeAngelis. Doesn't have to have the same battle that he had early in the race with Parker Thompson yesterday. So a little bit more of an opportunity to try and catch up with Roman. But at the moment, yeah, smooth sailing for Roman DeAngelis. And again, paying attention to how smooth he's driving this car, never putting it sideways whatsoever. Ultra smooth inside the cockpit. And Dickinson, no doubt, trying to replicate that.
A minute 27.969, looks like about 4/10 better than anyone else has done. Was the best lap just a couple of laps ago.
And again, let's just pay attention to Roman DeAngelis here. Listen to how smooth he is, the throttle application. It's just so ultra smooth there, never gets any wheel spin, and that is going to pay dividends later on in the race for Roman DeAngelis. We have a spinner here.
Tom Kerr, one of the physicians, a vascular surgeon, is into the barrier and off, trying to get it backed up. It's a little bit muddy, but not terrible. They've had heavy rains overnight, but it's been sunny and dry so far today.
And that's turn 5 right there, so lost it late in the corner, so you must have already been back to power, trying to get the power down, and must have spun it around. Maybe went down a gear too much and just had a little too much power and spun that thing around. Very easy to do this early on in the race.
So what DeAngelis would not want to see would be a full course caution. Can he get out of there? He'll let the field go through before he thinks about it.
Yeah, and you can see he's engaged reverse here, so he should be able to get out of there, but it's going to be a difficult task because the visibility fairly limited in the position that he's in. He cannot see the cars coming around the apex, so there is a local yellow flag displayed, and you can see he started backing that thing out, but he's going to be blind here. He's going to be hoping that his spotter from the top of the tower is going to be able to guide him out. So yeah, that is indeed the case. So waits for the field to go by, and he should be able to continue. So no full course yellow. Lucky break for Roman DeAngelis.
Meanwhile, this is the battle for third that has been raging. Parker Thompson in the black and gold Hertz car. Max Root in the number 7 car for TPC Racing. Let's go back and see what happened to Kerr. There actually was something that happened before Kerr got down there. Oh.
Okay, so we have a spinner. I can't quite make out the number. Oh, and lucky not to get T-boned there. So that happened before Kerr's moment. Oh, and Kerr got, did he? He got a little nudge.
From Randall Bryant, just 15.
Just the slightest of nudges, but the car is in full G-load at that point, so any little nudge is going to send you around as we have side-by-side battle for third.
Root was trying to go around the outside. Thompson hangs on to third. Root trying to switch back. Meanwhile, Jeff Kingsley is right there for 5th as they head down one of the straightaways. Thompson has the preferred line on the inside. You can't pass through here, can you?
No, you can't, but Parker Thompson's got pressure now, and clearly the other two behind him as we have 2 cars spun around. That's Gomez, last year's gold champion.
And then Charlie Luck, the former NASCAR Grand National Busch driver.
Oh, man, it's all happening. So Gomez going to be able to spin that thing around. Yeah, Parker Thompson with a little bit of breathing room here through turn 12 and turn 13. But it's really on the back part of the track where Max Root has the upper advantage, has the upper hand.
That's 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th all together. And then Alan Medney is coming through slow. He was just ahead of the crowd there, the Masters leader. And what happened with Gomez there?
Gomez just locks up both front wheels, and so he's just jammed onto those brakes and barged straight into the side there of Charlie Luck. So unfortunate for Charlie Luck. No luck for Luck.
And Luck was 2nd in the Masters class behind Medney, who had just had some difficulty. So that's a big break for Medney. So now Keimer moves up to 2nd in Masters class. Fred Pordad right behind him as well. And now another look to the inside for 3rd around 5 and 6. Root to the inside. Can he hang on as they swing out wide? Thompson on the outside. Kingsley is right there in 5th. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, all together, throw a blanket on them.
This is fantastic, and that was job well done for Parker Thompson to be able to carry the speed around the outside. A lot of marbles out there, so nowhere near the same amount of grip. But then once he got out to the curb, he had a slightly more open radius to get the power down. Some 450 horsepower in these beasts, so not easy to get the power down, especially not from a 2nd gear corner.
Root is still right there. Kingsley would love to see a little coming together to be able to pick up a couple of spots. He's ready to pounce.
He most definitely is, and Parker Thompson's got to be careful here. I think this was the thing we saw with him yesterday, is he has the tendency to overdrive the tires a little bit early on in the race, and we have a spinner. I believe that's in turn 2.
It's Bill Smith. Second little issue he's had here in race number 2.
And I thought for a second Max Root was going to go for a move down the inside into the final corner. Looked like he had a good run. not going to do it. But here's where Max Root gets the traction. He'll square it up off of turn 2 and get that run into turn 5. So let's see, did he get the traction this time? Looks like Jeff Kingsley's actually closer now than what Max Root is. And
Kingsley's thinking about going around the outside. Meanwhile, Root is trying to stick it up the inside one more time. Can he get the traction coming off? He will not. Thompson hangs on to the spot. Keep in mind, first and last in this little group, these are their debut weekends in this series. And for Parker Thompson running third, this weekend's the first time he's ever run anything with a roof over his head.
It's actually absolutely crazy. He's the championship leader in the Indy Pro 2000 category in the Road to Indy. And but yeah, this is completely new experience. I had a chance to catch up with him a little bit going into the weekend, and he just mentioned how different everything is. Any small mistake in this car, it turns into a much bigger mistake than what he's used to in the open wheel car. So he's really, really struggling here in the opening stage of this race not to make those mistakes.
And Kurt Fazekas is in front in the Gold Cup class now, running 11th overall. Rob Ferriel, the runner-up in the championship last year, is running behind him just about a second or so. So that's him you can see in the shot behind.
And Fazekas now extending that lead to some 1.5 seconds here over Ferriel. So clearly found some pace here about 20 minutes into the race.
Fazekas finished third in Gold Cup last year. Is Charlie Luck, who had bad luck earlier on when he got tagged, is trying to make his way back up through. He's in that rainbow-colored 45 car, is working on the 61. That's a Platinum Cup car of Scott Wellham.
And I would think he should get that position rather quickly because he does have the pace to be up at least at the top 10 overall. So let's watch for him to make a move here. And oh, he's already done it, hasn't he? Nope. Still sitting back there. So just biding his time here, trying to get the traction. And oh, we have some side-by-side action.
This is again that battle, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and now seventh.
Oh, and that's Max Root going into a back marker. Who's that in the 24 car?
Aiden Ramos. Lap cars, and I was just getting ready to say it's not over at this point because you're definitely going to see a lot of lap traffic. Who makes their way through? Ramos, doing his first weekend, does not get through cleanly. How much time did Root lose?
Oh, that's a lot. That takes him right out of the battle.
Yeah.
He's got a puncture. He's got a right front puncture there from that contact. So, what a shame for Max Root. I mean, challenging for that podium spot, and it was just so quick, and I felt like it was just a matter of time before he was going to get Parker Thompson there. But there's bigger issues here for Max Root. It's not just a puncture. He's got some major right front toe damage on that car. That'll likely be the end of his race. So we're hoping to get a replay of what happened there.
He battled for the podium yesterday and finished fourth. So this is third, fourth, and fifth now. What was a 4-car battle with a lap car involved now is down to a 3-car battle. Thompson, Kingsley, and McAllister.
And the one thing that shines through in all of this is these guys are racing for their careers, all of them wanting to prove that being in podium contention in these types of races means that, hey, I'm ready for the IMSA WeatherTech Championship or any other type of GT3 racing around the planet.
There's the 24 call of Ramos that was involved. He's out and back on track. But Kingsley is right there.
And not sure what's happened with Parker Thompson in this race. He just hasn't looked as punchy today as he did in the race yesterday. And you do have the option between these two races. You can go on a new set of tires for race 2, but you also have the option of staying on the old set from yesterday's race. So maybe that's something that can play a factor here. But you would think that everyone would have taken those new Yokohama tires ahead of the race today.
Dickinson is right there and uses a little bit of the chrome horn to let him know that he's there.
Let's see what's going to happen into turn 5 this time by. Not sure if he's close enough. Parker Thompson opens the door, but Kingsley going to at least just show himself in the mirror. And this is 3 teammates, mind you. So JDX Racing, all the engineers and strategists are going to be on pit road saying, okay, it's fine, battle it out, but don't take out your teammate.
Now, meanwhile, while this has happened, not only is Roman DeAngelis checked out, but it's allowed Riley Dickinson also to take a firm hold on second place. He's more than 13 seconds up the road. You're not going to see him in this shot. And Riley Dickinson is also making his debut this weekend. There's the leader, DeAngelis, still working through lap traffic. So this is the only chance, barring a caution, that anyone can make up any ground, is if it takes him longer to work through traffic than it does Dickinson and the rest of the field.
Yeah, and he did lose a second on that last lap, but I think that was just in being cautious around this traffic because he feels confident that once he's through the traffic that he's going to be able to extend that gap again. So just not taking any sort of risk. And there is Dickinson in the 53 car, the white, black, and red car. Him too navigating through traffic. And that gap is closed yet again, down to 7.4 seconds. It was up to almost 9 seconds just a couple of laps ago.
And Riley Dickinson is only 16 years old. Won't turn 17 until next month, May 11th, from Texas. So he was doing go-karts as recently as last year. Won the SCUSA Championship 2 years ago. Just started testing sports cars last August. Won 7 of the 12 Mazda Miata races he had last year. This is his debut, though, in pro racing.
A 16-year-old high school student racing a GT3 supercar out at Barber Motorsports Park. How cool is that?
Really nice young man, and he's joined a really good program as well with more speed. Keep in mind, this was the 19 car last year that dominated at times. Will Hardiman won early, and then Zachary Robichon took over later and won 7 of the final 8 races of the season last year for more speed. They also have a program in the WeatherTech GTD series.
And I tell you, it's pretty impressive to watch a young gun like this be able to navigate his way through traffic the way that he is. It's so easy to make a mistake and get frustrated when you're behind slower traffic and just make a small mistake, especially when you're young. But look at this. He's gifted a bit of a surprise here and is able to get 2 spots for 1. So he'll say, thanks very much. I'll see you later. And in doing so, let's see, what's the gap now? Up to Roman DeAngelis. Okay, now it's back up to 8.4 seconds again. So Roman DeAngelis in that clean air able to extend that lead again.
Meanwhile, Parker Thompson maintains his slight advantage for third. And in the Gold Cup, Fazekas running 10th overall. And he's got a little cushion with some traffic in the Platinum cars behind. And let's go back and see the 52 taking the lead there on Ferriel. Coming down, diving to the inside. Turn number 5.
And that was a nice classical. Oh, and actually, I wonder if that might be under review because there was a spun car at the apex right as he makes that move. So was there a yellow flag out on track when he made that overtake? So that's potentially something the race director is going to have to look at as Richard Edge, is off the track in turn 15.
Right near pit in.
Oh, and this could bring out a full course yellow if he doesn't get it going.
Sometimes here for this spring race, we see a lot of mud and you can easily get stuck, but luckily we've had some rain, but not as much as we've had other times. And it's been sunny today, and things have really dried out after a drenching overnight. And McAllister, I'm told, did spin a couple of laps ago. So McAllister had a spin, and that's what's put him back out of that battle for third place. So now it's a two-way battle for the final stop of the podium, maybe, although Metney is only 3 seconds back.
I was just going to say, Alan Metney, if these other two keep battling, he's going to be right there. And Alan Metney, I think his driving style could potentially be a little bit better on tires. So if these other two get bunched up, Alan Metney could be in the catbird seat for a podium.
Alan Metney is a really interesting story. 52 years old. He was a professional skydiver on the USA national team, and then he developed iFly. Maybe you're familiar with that. This is essentially virtual skydiving for people like me that are way too afraid to do the real thing, but still get the sensation. Doesn't take you all day to do it. He invented the mechanical piece and then franchised it, and obviously it's doing pretty well because he has gone all out in racing and is really working at it. As we see Sebastian Carrazzo get the third in the Gold Cup, so he did get around Swearingen.
And now the question, of course, is how quickly can he pull away here, or can he at all? If Swearingen's going to do anything, it's going to have to be into this turn 5 here in the brake zone, but not sure that he's close enough this time around.
And Scott Wellham in the 61 ahead of him, a Platinum car.
And that could play into the picture here. Again, the Platinum car is a little bit quicker down the straight, so it could be difficult here for Carrazzo to get by him, and that could bring Swearingen right into contention again.
And Wellham is on the same lap. He's 13th overall. Carrazzo is 14th overall, third in Gold Cup. Fazekas still leading that category by about 3.5, 4 seconds over Ferriel. Meanwhile, the advantage, as you see, timing and scoring. Now 12 seconds for Roman DeAngelis. He has been running by himself all weekend.
Absolutely unbelievable. And the gap is a little bit smaller than it was yesterday, shockingly enough. But yeah, still no challenge whatsoever. And probably at this point in time, just managing the Yokohama tires towards the end of the race here. 13 minutes to go here. And Roman, no problem whatsoever. And he's got through those lapped cars as well. So at the moment, it's just him and a naked racetrack in front of him.
And lap 5 still remains the Yokohama fastest lap of the race so far for Roman DeAngelis in the 127s. Right now running in the 128.8 range. The pace is slowed a little bit, as the Yokohamas wear, as you would expect. And when you have a 12-second lead, just don't do anything silly.
Well, I was actually going to say that's actually pretty impressive that these Yokohamas only have dropped off a full second after some 30-35 minutes of racing here, and putting a lot of strain onto them. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, but just how long duration all these corners are at Barber Motorsports Park, and how tough that is on the tires. So to only have dropped off that much, that means A, it's a good tire, and B, Roman DeAngelis does a great job of just managing them and not putting the car at risk.
So remember when we saw Root have some difficulty with lap traffic a little while ago? Aiden Ramos is getting a drive-through penalty for the incident. His responsibility for Root. Yeah, just about 15 minutes or so ago.
And that was very unfortunate to see, because that was just a thrilling battle for the final step on the podium, with Parker Thompson and Jeff Kingsley up there just absolutely battling it out. But as it stands, yeah, Root pretty far back.
That's DeAngelis working on lapping Dan Hardy, third-year veteran in the series from Florida.
And does that nicely. That was a very, very nice move there from Dan Hardy to just kind of move to the side and let Roman DeAngelis go and be on his merry way. So probably something that Dan Hardy can learn here by following that car of Roman DeAngelis, see what lines he's taking, maybe learn a little bit more about what brake points he can use. And I think it's fascinating as well here, the job that Roman DeAngelis has done, considering the fact that there is very limited opportunity to make engineering changes to these cars. So essentially driving the exact same car as everyone else on the track here, and despite that, to be able to pull out that 15-second lead is mighty impressive.
And also a very impressive weekend for 16-year-old Riley Dickinson. Not the first time in these cars. He's done a lot of proper testing, but testing is one thing, racing is different.
Racing is a completely different thing. It's the first time that you're going to push as hard as you possibly can. As we see the battle for third here, it's the first time you're going to push that hard for 45 minutes straight, and with no full course yellows thus far, yeah, it puts some strain on the tires, and it makes it very difficult to drive. And Jeff Kingsley deep on the brakes. Not going to be able to do it this time, but Parker Thompson, as we saw a little earlier in the race, did make a mistake into turn 5, so that's what Jeff Kingsley's going to be counting on.
Kingsley, also a teenager, 19 years old. He's a college student, full-time, at Western University in London, Ontario. He was the Rookie of the Year in the MCGT 3 Cup Challenge Canada last year, 4th overall. This is his USA Series debut. He's still racing in the Canadian Series this year, which kicks off at Mosport, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, in mid-May.
And obviously he's learned the nuances of this GT3 Cup car, a very different type of sports car than most other cars, in that the engine sits at the very, very back of the car, so it can be a bit of a pendulum effect, if you will, if you lose the rear end. So he's definitely refined that, and that's something that Parker Thompson's still learning, and probably won't be as prevalent on new tires, but as the tire life gets worse and worse here, that's going to come into more and more of an effect.
And so dealing with lap traffic, this is David Bruley Sr. with Kelly Moss Road and Race.
And a lucky break there for Parker Thompson to get that car of Bruley Sr. between him and Jeff Kingsley, and Kingsley's still bottled up here. He's going to lose a ton of time.
That might be job done for Parker Thompson, wrapping up the final spot on the podium, barring a big mistake. DeAngelis, fourth, now third in this line, the leader, working his way through.
So he should be able to get by here fairly easily, but again, he's just got to continue to stay conservative because his lead is now up to 19.3 seconds. So Roman DeAngelis, do not put your car at risk. There is nothing to lose here.
And we are working into the final few laps of this second event of the weekend, and DeAngelis will make his way through very easily.
Wow, and I'm actually surprised at how easily he was let go there by Corazzo. I probably would have tried to hold him off for at least one more corner here, because he does, of course, have the 17 car of Swearingen breathing down his neck.
Now, if you're Corazzo, you're hoping that Swearingen lets him through easily, and that will allow Corazzo some time to make that distance back up. So the turn signal is telling him he wants him to pass him on that side.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I think Wellham was looking at it. Is Wellham going to let... Yeah, he is, but this is going to draw... Oh, this is going to draw Corazzo closer. Is he going to do the over-under? And I think he might be able to get the job done here, finally, for Corazzo.
And Swearingen is right there, too, wants to make sure he can stay tied to the back of Corazzo, because that's for the final podium spot in Gold Cup.
How's that for a twofer there to get by that Platinum car there, and now Corazzo with a little bit of clean track ahead of him finally.
And understand Scott Wellham's dilemma there. Although he's not racing them in class, you want to race. That's why you're here, to have a chance to race with someone, and he's just looking at overall positions. He was running 13th, now he slips back to 15th.
Yeah, he does, and even more battles back here. And Parker Thompson, now Jeff Kingsley has reeled him in, and big pressure here with just about a minute and a half to go.
Thompson trying to go on the podium for the second day in a row in his debut weekend in sports cars. Finished third yesterday. The top three, in fact, are as they ran.
But that could very, very easily change here with Jeff Kingsley. I mean, that was a big gap that he's reeled in for Parker Thompson, and clearly appears to have the pace here. So now, the matter of fact is, he's got 2 laps to get it done, so he needs to get the run on this corner off of turn 3 to be able to set up Parker Thompson into turn 5, and he does have a good run. Not sure if he's close enough, though, into the brake zone for turn 5.
Kingsley finished 5th yesterday, trying to get to the podium in race number 2 of the weekend and of the season.
And this is the point in time where you wonder if he maybe ignores a little bit of that communication from his crew and just kind of sends it down the inside, because JDX Racing obviously do not want to see their 2 of their cars eliminated from the race.
Meanwhile, the white flag is waving on the main straightaway for the leader. Roman DeAngelis started on pole and has dominated for the second straight day. 2.3 miles remaining, and now less than 17 turns and a nearly 20-second advantage. DeAngelis has been in charge. Riley Dickinson has had no dramas running in second. The battle has been for third and beyond all day long, and Parker Thompson is just barely in front of Jeff Kingsley for that final podium spot. We'll watch both races as they come through. Meanwhile, Fazekas is in charge of the Gold Cup right now, but not by that much. He has a 1-second advantage on Rob Ferriel.
So here we go, white flag is out, and it's all about turn 2 and turn 3 for Jeff Kingsley. Can he get the run off the corner? This is what it all comes down to. So he's got to square off this corner, run it a bit wide here in the middle, try and plant that power, get down to the inside and get into the draft here. Parker Thompson doesn't appear to be close enough, but can he be ultra deep on the brakes into turn 5?
I think he dropped a little bit of a tire there. This might be the last best chance for Kingsley. Not close enough.
And now, unfortunately, the only thing he can hope for is from a mistake from Parker Thompson, but if he hasn't made one in 45 minutes, chances are he's not going to do one now.
Meanwhile, Roman DeAngelis continues to cruise. Final few corners. Back on the main straightaway, the 18-year-old Canadian with a dominating start to 2019. Roman DeAngelis has swept the Barber Motorsports weekend in Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge.
Wow, watch out every other competitor, because Roman DeAngelis is on a championship hunt, and boy, what a way to start. Maximum points in that big battle here on the last lap. And that's for the lead in gold, isn't it? It's Fazakis. Oh, and he bumps. He bumps with a back marker, and that's going to let the 5 car get nearby him.
Ferriel is right there, so we'll go back to that in a moment. Meanwhile, to the flag for the final podium spot. Dickinson comes home in second, and Parker Thompson is going to hold off his teammate Jeff Kingsley for third. So let's watch the Gold Cup Challenge now. And Fazakis did hang on to the position. So Ferriel couldn't get past the lapped car, the platinum car of Juan Manuel Fallon quick enough to give him a chance.
Boy, what a battle that could have been on the last lap if they were able to clear him a bit quicker together. But instead, it is going to be Fazakis that's going to take this win unless something happens here in the final corner. Great execution all day for him.
Fazakis won last year. We've got a couple of offs behind him, and one of them is that 19 car of Juan Manuel Fallon, and it was Ferriel as well, who was running second. So he went off, did not finish in race 1, and now has troubles at the end of race 2. Meanwhile, Kurt Fazakis has won Gold Cup for the second year in a row at Barber Motorsports Park. And Rob Ferriel, the runner-up in the 2018 championship, sees disaster in both races. He will be able to limp his way home and score some points. But where is he going to end up when timing and scoring recycles? He was in position for second. Rob Ferriel will see the checkered flag with only 3 wheels turning.
Wow, that is absolute heartbreak there for Rob Ferriel after being so quick all weekend long, on the last lap having a chance. And there's your Masters Platinum winner, Alan Metney, and boy, what a finish. His first ever top 5 overall finish. How amazing is that?
Alan Metney sweeps the weekend in Masters Platinum after winning the championship in 5 races last year, and now he has his first top 5 overall. He told me on Thursday, I want to mix it up with the young guys. I'm here to compete. Why do the young guys have to be better? I'm going to see. I'm doing everything I can to train and try to see where I can stack up. Meanwhile, the heartbreak and the frustration for Ferriel, who climbs out, and the celebration for 18-year-old Roman DeAngelis. A perfect weekend and a statement in the 2019 Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA Championship. Back at Barber Motorsports Park after race 2 of the weekend in the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama, and a weekend as we see the final results dominated by 18-year-old Canadian Roman DeAngelis. He wins both of these races, so impressive for him, and also impressive for 16-year-old Riley Dickinson, who comes home second in both races. Yeah, just very impressive to see the two of them do such a good job here in a very, very difficult track and conditions with 0 rubber on the track. So, but yeah, dominance for Roman DeAngelis. He wants that championship. And Parker Thompson on debut in sports cars gets podiums both days. But Roman DeAngelis, the star of the weekend. Let's head to Victory Lane.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't expect the gap to be as big today. I kind of struggled a bit in the race with the car. We had a lot of oversteer and tire degradation. I think I might have pushed a bit too hard in the beginning, but once again, awesome job by Kelly Moss. I mean, the car keeps getting better, which is amazing because it's already pretty good, but to win again in Birmingham, my first double win and a first win on a Sunday in Platinum in front of all my sponsors, MPT, Race for Children's, Children's Hospital of Alabama, so it's just an amazing day.
All right, Anders, let's take a look now at our points after 2 rounds of 16, 1 weekend, and it's pretty simple because the podium was the same both days, but Roman DeAngelis has a nice advantage, but the other two with 2 podiums are still within range.
Well, and don't forget the likes of Parker Thompson's just going to learn this car more and more and is going to get stronger during the course of the season, so I think still it's going to be a heck of a battle.
And next up with the IMSA WeatherTech Series, Mid-Ohio, May 3rd through 5th. For Anders Krohn, I'm Kevin Lee. Congratulations, Roman DeAngelis dominates the weekend at Barber Motorsports Park.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of the International Motorsports Association. We would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.